Hey everybody, it's Sean once again. Welcome back to another video. If you like this video, please press the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel. If you're new to the channel, welcome aboard. If you've been on this long journey with me, hearing some of the rants that I make, and you're hanging in there, I appreciate you guys a lot. The best compliment that you can give anybody that presents videos on YouTube is share their videos with other people. If you find this video useful and you think someone else can benefit, please, the best compliment you could do is share the video with somebody else. So let's move on. Now, mind you, I'm in my home studio, I'm recording. It's hot. I got all these lights in here, so if you see me sweat, it's not because I just got out of the shower or I just got out of a pool. It gets hot in here, you guys. There's no ventilation. Whenever you see me bring some water, it means I might be talking for a little bit, maybe about half an hour. But I got some good information. I got some good resources. Topic of today is how many magazines should you carry as an armed private security officer? Now, those of you who are in law enforcement, or maybe you're a concerned citizen that wants to educate yourself more on magazine carry, how many you should carry, this video will also benefit you. The video is designed for private security professionals, but it will benefit those of you who are in law enforcement and those of you who want to learn more about defensive measures, how to keep the gun running if you have to end up using it. So how many magazines do you carry, or should you carry? Okay, is it one? Is it two? How many? I did a community poll, and I posted a question in the community board, and the question goes like this: how many magazines do you carry and why? And out of all the posts that I make, and I'm a new YouTuber, and because I'm a new YouTuber, there's not too much feedback, not too much comments, but I got a lot of comments and feedback. In my opinion, to me, 10 comments is a big deal. I got a lot of feedback from you guys, those of you who are listening to this video here, and I'm going to go through everybody's comment. And I needed you guys to respond. And if you're still going to respond, that's great. I'll still respond to you. The input that you provide is helpful to other people as well. But the reason why I want to know is because I wanted to make you guys' input part of the overall design of the video that I made already. And trust me when I say this, the comments that you guys made is a lot more helpful than the videos that I found on YouTube that address the issue of how many magazines you should carry and why. Most vlogs, YouTube videos, and the literature that's out there, nobody, well, very rarely did I see anybody address the question of why. They were fast to say 2 mags, 3 mags, 4 mags. One guy said 8. But as to why, that question is, there's still question marks for that question, like 5 question marks after. So I'm going to go through all the responses. First one is from James Reynolds, and he says this, and I'm reading it from the screen. Below you is my laptop, and I have all the comments in my frame of sight, or my line of sight. I'm going to try to figure this out. I'm going to do a screenshot and then post it when I finally finish editing this video that I'm making for you guys. So James Reynolds says this: can you go over large capacity magazines bought during Freedom Week? I have heard even if they purchased legally, they are prohibited by BSIS. Say this once again: can you go over large capacity magazines bought during Freedom Week? I have heard even if they're purchased legally, they are prohibited by BSIS. So in California, BSIS is the Bureau of Security and Investigative Services. They are the regulatory arm in California. They regulate private security professionals and private investigators and private security training facilities as well, and a lot of other occupations. That's what BSIS is. Now in California, we are among 8 other states that have restrictions on magazine capacity. We're out of these 8, we're 6 of the states that have a limit of 10 cartridges per magazine. That's the limit. In California, I don't remember what the case was, but somebody had, it looks like they had bought some large capacity magazines during what's called Freedom Week. The term Freedom Week is a term that was coined by many pro-Second Amenders in California. It's a time period when you were able to buy, and it was a small window of opportunity, about 7 days, when you're able to legally buy large capacity magazines in California. You can even, a lot of companies were even shipping them out to you. It was about a week. And the reason for that is the Honorable, and I'm going to say honorable because he's honorable, the Honorable Judge Benitez, a federal court judge in California, determined that the California large capacity magazine ban was unconstitutional. And after that ruling, he sent notices to law enforcement saying that they cannot enforce the large capacity magazines until there's a difference in ruling. Now, what ended up happening is the state of California appealed, and because of the appeal, Judge Benitez, I think the easiest way of simplifying this is he stopped Freedom Week. Okay, it really wasn't him. It was the state of California that stopped it because of the appeal. But Freedom Week was no longer in existence. Now, this is the problem: is law enforcement, they begin to, in my opinion, sometimes illegally confiscate and arrest people who had large capacity magazines. These cases started being litigated in the courts. The problem is that whoever possessed the magazines, they had sometimes a difficult time proving that they bought these magazines during Freedom Week. Now, another issue I want to bring up is the prosecutor, in most circumstances, they have the burden of proving that you broke the law, that you're in possession of a large capacity magazine. And typically your defense would be, well, I bought it during Freedom Week. Okay. Also, one of the viable other defenses would be, well, I bought it during the pre-ban period. Pre-ban period was January 1st of 2000. Now, obviously, if you're in your 20s, you can't say that you bought it January 1st, 2000, because you probably weren't even alive. So that would be very difficult to prove. James Reynolds also alluded here that BSIS regulates large capacity magazines. They don't. The state of California does. BSIS does not regulate high capacity magazines. So to answer his question of whether or not you can have a large capacity magazine that was bought during Freedom Week, this is a gray area, definitely a gray area, and I can't give you legal advice on this subject here. I'm sorry, I want to give you more advice, but I can't. It's a gray area, and the answer is I don't know. There's a lot of people on social media that are not qualified to speak on the subject, and they're telling their subscribers that it's legal, okay, to have those large capacity magazines that were bought during Freedom Week and also pre-ban. But to answer the specific question, I'm choosing not to give an answer because I don't want to lead you in the wrong direction. And those cases are being litigated as we speak. So it'd be premature of me to answer that question right now. James Reynolds. But if I was a private security officer working a post, I'd carry a large capacity magazine, and that's just me. Whatever the repercussions on that are, hey, I'm going to be accountable for it. I'm accountable for all my mistakes, and that's just me. Don't follow my lead. I'm just telling you that that's what I would do. Now, unfortunately, you might get a police officer, law enforcement officer that doesn't know his or her job that much and doesn't do their research, and they might end up arresting you. You might be in a jurisdiction where they don't really know what the law stands on that, and they might force you into a plea bargain that you might not even want to take in the first place. But you get scared, you get worried, and you take it anyways. Okay, it's not right, but I've seen that happen. Okay, Citizen Edge. Citizen Edge. I'm going to say this already, that my views and the views of Citizen Edge in a lot of things are totally different. I'm a conservative guy, Republican. I always vote Republican. If it makes sense, then I'll vote Democrat, depending on what this Democrat stands for or what the issues are and how they vote. Citizen Edge, I don't think he's either a conservative or liberal. He has his own party. Our views and a lot of things are totally different. But not too long ago, I said, you know what? This guy has some good input. He's very respectable to other people on this channel. Even though his views are sometimes a lot different. Well, they're way different than mine on a lot of things. But I like diversity. And I'm not talking about diversity in culture. I'm talking about diversity of opinion. Some of the things that he says on some of his videos, I didn't agree. And then I started telling myself, hey, you know what? I can relate to these situations because of my ethnic background. So Citizen Edge, if you're out here listening, welcome to the channel. Again, we could agree to disagree. I really like the input that you have on your channel. I like the videos that you have. I like the content that you have on your channel. So you keep up the good work. He says this: most gunfights expend less than 10 rounds. However, I'm not trying to be fair. I'm in it to win. I carry 2 extra magazines. One is for the assurance that I have enough for a practical situation. And the second magazine is to ensure that I have a fully loaded magazine after SHTF. There is no feeling like walking around with an empty gun. Citizen Edge is correct. The study that I did, and we're going to talk about that, most of the gunfights, you're going to expend less than 10 rounds. And I like how he says that he's not trying to be fair. No, he's trying to win. When you're trying to win a violent encounter, you have to cheat. Okay, if you're not cheating, then you're not going to win. Okay, he says I carry 2 extra magazines. One's for insurance that he has enough for a practical situation. I don't know exactly what he means by that, but I'm thinking maybe for the current situation. Wait a minute. No, one is for assurance that he has for the current situation. That's what I think he wanted to say, or meant to say. And the second is to ensure that he has a fully loaded mag after something happens. Yes. Okay, so you're obviously going to have one in the well of the gun, and then another extra one, okay, just in case there's another situation, or for that situation. And then the third one is just in case another situation pops up after the feeling, because you don't want to be walking around with an empty gun. It is a bad feeling. So thank you for your input, Citizen Edge. Benton Housen says this: I'm not sure if this counts, but I'm not armed with a firearm, but I'm taser armed security, and I typically carry 2 spare cartridges and 1 loaded in my taser. I'm thinking that Benton probably has a Taser Pulse or X26. Benton, if you're listening, let me know what you have. I like that he has, I know it's not a firearm, but to Benton, this is the most powerful weapon other than the brain that he has on his duty belt, and he treats it like a firearm. I like that he has two spare cartridges just in case. Benton, if you're listening, with the taser, depending on, well, yeah, the taser after you deploy a cartridge, if it's not having an effect, if you have one probe in this person, you can actually walk up to this person or close distance, dry stun them, and the effect it would have on their central nervous system would be nearly the same as if you had two prongs in them. So just keep that in mind. As for reloading during a taser situation, now with taser situations, most of the time they're actually coming after you. They're not just being passive, just sitting there. They're actually doing something. They're coming towards you. You might not have time to reload another spare cartridge. What we see is private security officers who have partners. One could be the lethal defense and the other less lethal, and then you might actually have time to reload. But it just depends on the situation. But I do like how you have two spare cartridges. Okay, just in case you're thinking ahead. Okay, just make sure that you keep practicing on and on and on. But thank you for your input. James Reynolds had a follow-up question. He says, 3 mags on my belt and 1 in my gun. I read an article about an officer-involved shooting where he shot the suspect multiple times with a 45, and he never went down until he got a headshot on the last few rounds he had. 3 on the belt, 1 in the gun. And this is not a bad idea, James. I don't know what kind of gun you have. I don't know what caliber, but this is common that you see a lot of police, security, they'll have 3 magazines on the belt and then 1 in the well of the gun. And it's very possible that you can shoot somebody multiple times, even with a 45, and they're not going to go down unless you get a headshot. Or maybe they're in the process of bleeding out. But it's good that you have some rationale on or reasoning on why you got 3, so that's good. Lil Michael, he says, this used to be 3 extra, then I wanted to take some weight off my vest, so I switched to 2. Also, everyone would always make the same comment, why do you need all those mags? I also keep 3 more in my bag since I work at a dispo currently. I think he meant dispensary. Okay. So he uses 3 extra. Okay, so he used to carry 3, but he wanted to take some weight off of his vest. So I weighed a Glock 22 magazine that had, let's see, 15 rounds, 15 cartridges in the magazine, and it came out to about 3/4 of a pound. That's almost a pound. So if you're carrying 3 extra on your vest, that's almost 3 pounds. And it looks like you wanted to reduce some weight. That makes sense. I mean, the more weight that you have on you, the less ability you're going to have to move in different situations. For me personally, I would start removing these magazines, not because I'm not going to use them, but because I think my chances of developing a back injury, all that additional weight on my back, probably outweigh the possibility of getting into a lethal force encounter. Now, that's one of the rationales that I have. Your chances of developing that back injury are greater, or other physical ailments from carrying too much. Now, obviously, you've got to take care of yourself. If you don't take care of your body won't take care of you. I like that he has 3 more in the bag because he works at a dispensary. Now, it depends on the dispensary, though. Some dispensaries, you'll just be by yourself, and when there's an armed robbery at a dispensary, there's going to probably be more than one. So having 3 in a bag that's accessible to you is not a bad idea. I've seen some officers actually carry a lot of magazines. I mean, more than 3, maybe 8 magazines in their bag, and then they have a box of ammunition. Are you gonna have time to reload? Probably not, but those mags might come in handy. The security guard channel replied, and he said 1 in the well and then 2 backups. Security guard channel is a very good channel to subscribe to. I highly recommend you guys go to his channel and subscribe. He has very good input. He says this: aside from the round count, a 3rd mag, in my opinion, offers the best opportunity to remain in the fight should one magazine become unusable via malfunction. I feel like a backup magazine is sufficient, but a 3rd is there for the unforeseen variables that we never can anticipate. That's true. This comment should be pinned, actually, and I'm going to agree with him. This is the first time in this thread that somebody mentioned a malfunction. The way the magazines work is this. So I can keep this Glock 22 mag compressed, okay, to capacity. I can keep this in the same position for 30 years. And when I take it out to 30 years, it's going to probably still function, and I probably won't have any double feeds, any malfunctions. If I use this magazine, if I unload it every day, I load it up, I go to all kinds of trainings, okay, the spring is compressing, is decompressing, compressing, decompressing. That activity alone will degrade the actual spring in the magazine, and eventually you may start developing double feeds. I know the security guard channel, he, as a person, I know he trains a lot. Okay, he's always going to the range, and that's a good reason why you have to have you should have the 3rd magazine, because you want to remain in the fight just in case you have a malfunction. Okay. Alex Cruz says 4, 1 in the pistol, 3 on my belt. Okay, he didn't specify what type of assignment he performs. There's no reasoning behind that, but hey, I'm glad that he responded and he's able to tell us what exactly he carries. Maybe that will help others get an idea. And last, Jose Quiroz says 4 just because. You know, I already like Jose. He don't give a reason, just because. You guys, there's a significant amount of people out there, they just carry 4 because. Okay? You don't have to have a reason. You guys, this video, I'm not giving you a standard. I'm not telling you how many magazines to carry. Okay? We're just having a conversation, and we're asking each other, hey, how many magazines do you carry? And then you guys are responding. Other people might look at it like, okay, well, I carry 3, and I thought maybe that's too many. But this guy over here, Jose, carries 4, and just because. And then Alex Cruz also carries 4. No reasoning. Again, you don't need a reasoning. I'm sure that they have a reason on there. They have a reason in mind, but that's not available to us. So these are the comments. It looks like we're going about 20 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the video. If you guys would please do me a favor and watch the follow-up video where I'm actually discussing the study. It's called Officer-Involved Shootings, What We Didn't Know Has Hurt Us. So in the follow-up video, I discussed the study. You're going to like it because I'm going to discuss hit ratios with different agencies. What's the probability of an officer during some of these circumstances that were researched? What was the possibility or probability of the officer hitting the suspect? Talk about round count for sure, and understanding what the round count was in officer-involved shootings is going to give you a better idea on how many magazines that you should carry. Now, The discussion is about police officers. That's what the study is. Right now, you guys, there's no study on private security professionals. You can't just go to a government agency and find easy data that tells you how many magazines they had. Well, they'll almost never tell you that. There's no statistics on that. How many rounds were fired? That there might be some statistics on that, but it's hard to get that. Very difficult to get that information. Not impossible. The statistics are on law enforcement officers, and that's what we're going to use. But we're going to add a private security twist to all of this. So please, when that video is available, watch it. I'm going to leave a link in the description.